Hey, welcome. This is Brandon, and I want to go over why I bought MicroStrategy stock today. Basically, this was, of all the stocks that I evaluated, looked at, I really just felt that this had the best technical setup. I've been waiting to kind of dip by MicroStrategy. And using my system, basically, I've got a system where I like to dip buy momentum stocks that have been strong but are kind of temporarily in the gutter, or good value. And if you look at this chart, basically, to go over it, these green kind of channel lines, that's the Keltner channel. And I've got a system that I've used for a long time, more than a decade, that's basically the best system I've ever used. It gives me the best percentages with the lowest risk, and I've used it and traded it for thousands and thousands of trades, and it's by far the best system I've ever used. I've done everything. I've day traded. I've traded different systems. I've swing traded. I've position traded, and I've long-term invested, and I still do all those. And this is the best system I've ever found for me. I've studied a lot of champion traders and know what they do, and a lot of it is breakouts. And this is kind of the opposite of that, is basically buying dips in strong stocks. I learned this system from a many-time champion trader, and have been doing it for a long time, and I'm so confident in it. I finally decided to kind of share it, but this isn't advice, just kind of going over what I personally do that works for me. The stock that I kind of piled into today is MicroStrategy. I didn't buy options. Sometimes I'll buy longer term options. It's just a wild enough stock. I don't necessarily need the options to make money on it. So the reason that I basically picked it is, for one, it follows my criteria. It has the momentum. This blue 50-day moving average is above the 100-day red moving average, and the stock price itself is above the 200-day moving average. And in the middle of this Keltner channel is a 20-day moving average. So even that's above the 200-day moving average. So the long-term momentum is there. The mid-term momentum is there. So I think it's a strong stock. And it's just right now it's kind of down. It kind of, if you look right here a little bit more closely, it was up above the Keltner channel where I would not want to buy it. And these Keltner channels are kind of like Bollinger Bands, a little tighter. But they give you a good idea of price, of when a stock is overpriced, fairly priced, underpriced, compared to how fast and often it moves, and also where its 20-day moving average is. And so I just never found a good spot to buy it. And then lately it's kind of not done so well, and it's been in the bottom. I've been looking to buy it, but it's just showed 3 days of really good strength. So now it's a stock that's dipped and finally is showing some strength. So I really have a lot of confidence in it right now to buy it. It's right at that 20 SMA. It might actually dip down a little bit, but I think eventually it'll probably get its footing and shoot higher. And then if you really kind of look at it on a little bit of on a lot of a longer term, since basically the beginning of the year, this stock spiked up to almost $545 a share, and this would have been obviously the day that you would want to trim or take profits on it. It really was way above the Keltner channel, and it did what stocks do. It kind of rubber banded back down and bounced down that 20 SMA, and then it kind of gave it up and went back down towards the bottom of the Keltner channel. And any of these areas might have been some buying opportunities. I just never bought it, and it continued to go down. It almost lost its momentum here. The 50-day and the 100 moving average were really tight, and then right here it almost lost it again. But finally it's kind of opened up a little bit. The stock itself is above the 200 moving average. the 20 days above the 200, and there's a nice fat band between the 50-day and the 100-day moving average. All this is pretty healthy, but overall, if you kind of look at this, this is kind of like a cup and handle too. You got a nice fat wide cup right here, base, and you've got a nice little handle, and it's starting to curl up. And I bet once it comes up to this handle and breaks out, it's going to go back up to all-time highs. Of course, it depends on the price of Bitcoin and what Bitcoin's doing. And so I look at IBIT, which is the Bitcoin ETF, and I bought a little of this too, because honestly, Bitcoin trades really well on this system. If you kind of look at it here, IBIT, the 50-day moving average is over the 100-day moving average. It almost crossed over here and lost its momentum, but it gained it back right here. And the price itself is over the 200-day moving average. This 20-day moving average is over the 200. So it has long-term momentum, mid-term momentum. Everything looks strong, and it's just kind of temporarily down. Now, it's not that down. It just wasn't a buy up here above the Keltner channel, but it's now dipped kind of back into the Keltner channel. It's not what I would consider a great buy, but it's a good buy. You can buy inside that Keltner channel and feel confident. And it looks like it's actually bouncing off the 20 SMA and wants to head higher. So I bought some of this IBIT as well. But basically, this Bitcoin trades really well on the system. As you can see, when it's dipping down, it's usually a good buy. If it's well above the Keltner channel, it's usually time to trim or sell. And right now, it looks like it's bouncing off the middle of that Keltner channel, which is about the 20 SMA. And it could be heading higher. So all this kind of gave me confidence. I looked at several stocks to buy, and I had some nice candidates that I liked. That are kind of part of this system, and there's a bunch of hot stocks on my wish list, like GE and GE Vernova and Johnson Controls and Microsoft and Meta and Dollar General and MTUM and QQQ. All these are stocks on my wish list, but just not quite perfect setups, where they're a little bit too expensive for me. And just looking through all the stocks and going through, this was the one that I liked. This is the one that I bought. This is not advice for anybody or a recommendation, just kind of sharing my process and what I do and how I have had success for many years with this system. And I really feel comfortable and confident with it. I'll kind of give you one last bit. What's kind of neat about this is the stop losses. They're kind of easy to put. You can put them around this 100-day moving average or kind of near the bottom of this kind of area. So there's not a ton of risk here. If you're buying up here, where do you put your stop loss? Do you put it down here at the bottom of the Keltner channel? Well, the difference from 545 and 300, that's a huge difference. That's a lot of risk when you're buying up here or holding up here. But when it's down here towards that bottom of the Keltner channel and you've got fairly tight stops, it's not a ton of risk either. There's some risk, but it's not a ton. So I basically bought with about a 330 stop. I wanted to be a little loose, which is about the 100-day moving average. I don't want to get stopped out if things turn, but if it dumps, I don't want to be holding it either. But fairly loose stop, about 330 is where I put my stop, with the idea that this cup and handle pattern is kind of formed. And now we've got this handle, and now we've had 3 days of nice strength. Bitcoin's showing a little bit of strength, and it looks like it wants to take off. And if it gets past these levels, we are in a breakout, and I think I'm going to hang on to it and see if we can't get back up to this, all-time highs of 540 at some point. And shoot, it might even blow above that if Bitcoin really takes off. So there's a lot of upside with this, and not a ton of risk. For me, I'm risking about $55 a share, but I think the upside is, maybe, well over 100, maybe $200 a share. So the risk reward is there. So this is the stock that I kind of picked for myself, and that I decided to go with today. And hopefully this helps. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions, or if you don't agree, let me know. If you do, if you bought MicroStrategy, let me know. Leave a comment, or if there's any stocks you'd like me to look at, I could maybe do that. Or if you have any questions about the system, let me know. Thanks. Bye.